With the stock market making a decent dip today, a lot of news, a lot of things coming out. We're going to be telling you guys everything you need to know about the stock market today and what to expect for tomorrow. Also, giving you guys supports and resistance and kind of giving you guys an estimate on where the stocks are going tomorrow. Without further ado, let's start off on the heat map. So we got NVIDIA up 0.55%, Google down, you got Broadcom down, Meta down, Tesla down, Amazon down. We got Apple decently down, but it's not too far down. We got some decent news, and Apple is coming back a little bit. So let's talk about some news. And we got some news with Apple for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Apple coming out with their new iPhone SE, and they're potentially talking about more products and just the future for their company a little bit more. So it might bring up the stock price a little bit more with anticipation with the new phone, and if they come out with something decent. With that being said, Apple stock, we did have a big sell off, but then we're kind of getting a better buyback. You could have gotten at this dip if you were paying attention. If not, it's okay. But personally, I think depending on how everything goes, I think Apple can make a rebound up past how we opened up. Kind of, we opened up at like the 244 level, but I think tomorrow we can try and fight that 245, just depending on how the event goes and everything like that, and depending on how investors are with this. But with that being said, I do want to look at that 245 level, 246, all the way up to 247. And honestly, I think maybe later on this week, and or if the event goes well, we can get that 250 level. But if not, maybe next week we can get it if we keep on getting decent news with Apple, especially if they talk about their AI in China. That could bring up the stock price a lot and investor sentiment up a lot. With that being said, going back to the downside, I will look at how it reacts at 242 level. We did have a big bounce off of that, making a good rebound. Below that, 241, and then at 240 level is going to be a key level to look at. We got a lot of buyers there, so we might get a little bounce off. But with that being said, if we do break below that 240, we can look a little bit bearish and go to that 239 to 238. And I don't think we'll get down all the way down to that 235 level, but it is potential. With that being said, let's talk about some news and how the stock market is moving. So basically, the SPY has a slight decline of 0.1%, which isn't too bad. That's kind of average. You know, you either have a decline or increase of 0.1%, sometimes even 0.5, sometimes even 1%. But 0.1% isn't that bad. We just kind of was moving kind of slow today. While the Dow Jones, we had the Dow Jones fell by 0.4%, and the SPY still remains at its all-time high, as you guys seen before. It's at like 609 right, or yeah, 609 right now, I believe. We're gonna be looking at those price levels a little bit later. We also have the European market is up, showing modest gains, and some other markets are doing a little bit better than the U.S. markets right now. But with that being said, we had some decent news with Intel, like I said before. Intel has some news, kind of having like a deal with both Broadcom and Taiwan Semiconductor, basically deals to split Intel's business. So it's a small potential that that's going to happen. And in this article, kind of says that it could be worth more than $200 billion, which could bring the stock price up even more. With that being said, it is still like in works, and people just think that we're just going to, maybe Intel is just going to sell the license instead, and or the business is just going to be split up, you know, sold separately. But that being said, keep your eye out for Intel. Intel is moving pretty decent. We're up 15% for the day, and it's honestly looking pretty strong. I'm not even gonna lie. Being said, we had a decent move today from 24.5 all the way up to 27, and we're just moving up even more. Get a long-term play with this. With some price levels, I do want to look at that $30 level. And if we break past that $30 level, we can look bullish even more and break past that $30 level, going up to that 32, 33, 34, and then maybe even get into that $40 level, just depending on how the deal works and what all. I mean, once you just get more information on the deal, we can see that. But to the downside, if we do start falling somehow, even after hours or tomorrow after market open, we can look at that 27 level first, because we might break past a little bit more, maybe get to that 28, bounce down, see that 27 level, bounce down below that. We can look at that 25.6 level. We bounce off of it a few times, and all the way down to where we, before we opened, that 24.5, and then going down even more to 23, 22, and then that $20 level. But honestly, I think Intel is going to be spiking a little bit. I do recommend just having this in your short term and not really your long term. unless you invest now. If you invest now, you can probably hold Intel for the long term, especially if the deals go well. Personally, I think either way, either way they go, unless they decline everything. If they decline everything, you might see the stock fall even more. But if they either split up, sell some of it, the stock can spike up and the business can look great. And or if they sell off their license and just go the other route, they can still spike up a lot more. Broadcom and Taiwan Semiconductor are two good companies that could spike Intel's overall like profits and everything. With that being said, Taiwan Semiconductors, they want US chips, so that's mainly why. Not mainly, but that's kind of like a thought of why they're getting into this. And I mean, honestly, you can just see Intel. Honestly, I think Intel can be at that $30 level, $40 level, maybe even that $50 level with all this news. But just keep that in mind. I'm kind of overhyping it right now, so don't be too hype and don't get FOMO with that. So yeah. But with that being said, we got Southwest Airlines. They declined by 1%. The company announced plans to lay off 15% of the workforce, making its first mass layoff in its history. So keep that in mind if you're in any airlines. We also had that crash recently. Everybody survived, which was dope. Dope. I don't know. Sorry, but good news that everybody survived though. Like the plane actually like tipped over. I think it was Delta. That happened over the weekends. But yeah, but some trade policies. President Donald Trump's recent tariffs announcements has introduced uncertainty into the markets. While some new view these actions as negotiation tactics, the potential for global trade war remains a concern for investors. So I kind of marked kind of a sell off today too, because a lot of people are still, like if we get into a trade war, it can bring a lot of businesses down, a lot of profits down. It's going to make things more expensive and it's going to bring the overall inflation and stuff like that into account. And it's just going to look pretty bad for the markets. So keep that in mind while investing. But at the same time, that could be a good dip buy situation because it either is going to balance out and just neutral out. Stocks will be trading at a decent price after we reach bottoms, and or it's going to get fixed, and you're going to see stocks at all-time highs again. But I mean, honestly, if you look at Nvidia, things like Nvidia, SPY, like we're almost like at highs once again with like Nvidia and stuff like that, and SPY's at its high. So we're doing pretty good with trades, but just remember that uncertainty is going to bring down the market. So let's talk about Bitcoin a little bit because Bitcoin did have a little spike, maybe hit a bottom, and or it's just gonna rebound a little bit and then go down even more. But Bitcoin is kind of dying out, and it's been dying out for the past couple of days. With that being said, we experienced a slight decline from its previous highs. The cryptocurrency market remains volatile, influenced by regularity developments and a market sentiment. So keep that in mind if you guys are invested in any other stocks. I know XRP is doing like okay right now. It's a good time to buy XRP, but honestly, I think I'm gonna wait a little bit to see how everything goes. But with that being said, with Bitcoin, if you guys are into stocks, me, I am, and I'm into option trading. One stock to look at is IBIT because it moves exactly with Bitcoin. I've been trading decent with it. I think I'm gonna wait and see how Bitcoin really moves. We might be able to see Bitcoin at like the 96K level once again, like it was before. So you might have a little bounce, maybe rebound back up to that 96, retest it, either bounce off of it or go past. So I might be playing some option plays in the future for that. Another one to look at is MSTR and Coinbase. Coinbase just had earnings a few days ago. But with that being said, I think MSTR and Coinbase moves with Bitcoin too. So these are decent ones. These are just a little bit more expensive. If you want to mitigate your risk a little bit more, I think IBIT is the best one. IBIT doesn't really move too much, but you can make a decent amount of money safely with it if you kind of monitor how Bitcoin moves. Right now, it's kind of moving a little bit different than we were moving before because we would get down to like that 94K and go back up to that 100K and sometimes even break new highs. But right now, we're kind of at that level where we're at that 94K and then we either come back just a little bit and then break down lower. So just keep in mind for the crypto market, it's kind of moving a little weird right now. So keep in mind, don't get FOMO with it, But for tomorrow, the 19th, 2025, we have a Federal Reserve meeting minutes. The release of the minutes from the Federal Reserve policy meeting will closely show insights into future policy, especially in the light of the recent inflation data. And we also got some corporate earnings. We have major companies like Walmart and stuff like that showing their performance. It will kind of show the further direction of the market and developments related to the U.S. trade policies, kind of will show like focal points and the potential to introduce volatility into the markets. So just like I said before with the trade and everything like that, the tariffs, it's really going to move the market up or down, just depending on what all comes out. So yeah, but some things I got to say. Make sure you guys diversify. Don't get FOMO in this market because you can buy a dip and then the dip can really mess you up. So don't get into a bad dip. You know, you see recently with Tesla, Tesla kind of tried to make a rebound at one point, but then it kind of bounced down even lower. Like you could have been like, dang, it's going up. Like here, like even market open, Tesla will open up kind of green, and you could have probably bought right here, and you would have been down for the whole day. And then yeah, but with that being said, I think Tesla, we have a little bit more of a downward trend. Probably hit a bottom pretty soon. We got some good news with the robots coming out. We do got some uncertainty in China with the full self-driving kind of getting out because the trade wars is kind of stopping that somehow. So keep that in mind too. But I think Tesla, I'm gonna look at it at that 350 level once again because we kind of had a big bounce off of that, but we might be retesting it soon. So with that being said, I do recommend looking at that 350 level down to that 345 and then down to that 340. And if we go lower, we're just going to keep getting bearish. So I honestly just recommend being very, very patient with Tesla because once we hit that bottom, like you've seen here, honestly, we hit a bottom at 320 and then we bounced up from 320 all the way to 355. Like I really want to see if it were retest at 320. If we retest at 320, we either make a bigger bounce and or we'll bounce below it. So keep that in mind for Tesla. Tesla's kind of uncertain. SPY's kind of coming back. We're at that 610 level. We kind of bounced off of the 612, almost 613 level pre-market, but we had a big sell-off right before then. With that being said, I do want to look at that 611 level, that 612 level, and then breaking past what we had pre-market and then going all the way up to that 613. We might be able to do it. We might not. I don't know. With that being said, if we do keep on having a big sell-off like we've seen in the stock heat map, not really a big sell-off, but just a lot of big companies in the red, and Nvidia not really moving that strong, Apple not really moving that strong. Like we have not really that many stocks up that much. If we kind of continue this, we can see SPY kind of start dying down a little bit more, and then people start getting fear. They start selling off the key stocks and SPY, and you can look at it at 609, 608, 607, 605 especially. And honestly, we've been holding that 600 level for a while. But with that being said, look at that 600 level. 601 and 602 is going to be key going down there, though. But I do recommend looking at a 600 level. And if we break below that, we'll be at the 595 levels around that. But if we keep going up, like I said, that 613 is going to be key. And if we can break past that, and if all those stocks looking good, probably get 615, break some highs, market looks great. Another one I really want to look at is Google, because Google has been falling a decent amount. We kind of made a decent rebound, but then, double top a little bit, and then we bounced down even more. So I do really want to see a bottom for Google because Google is a decent stock. We bounced off that 183.65 a few times. But with that being said, Google is one of those stocks that, I feel like you could add to your long term, but I do recommend looking for a bottom just to get it at the premium price. I do want to look at that 183 level again. If it gets back down to that 183, if it doesn't break past it and it starts bouncing, you could probably get into a little long-term trade and even a long-term option trade for that one. But Google, honestly, like they run YouTube, they have cloud computing, and they're also getting into quantum computing. So there's a decent amount of things that Google has, but honestly, I think it's a good long term, but it's not really moving too well right now. Amazon has been falling a decent amount. We had a big sell off today. With that being said, Amazon is a decent long term too. Everybody uses Amazon. They're into quantum computing, cloud. They have a cloud. They have literally a lot of things too. It's another one that has a bunch, like their companies diversified basically. Like companies like Amazon, Microsoft, even Apple. Apple's a little diversified. Alphabet and things like that are good long-term stocks because they're so diversified and they're just adding more things that help out the community and just brings up their profits. But that being said, that's my stock market outlook for today. Actually, I kind of want to see Palantir because Palantir is a good long-term, I think, because Palantir is that stock that you've seen, all the way down. When it was at that $30 level, people were like, oh my God, I'm gonna load up, but I'm gonna wait for it to, bounce. And then it never made like a big bounce down. I think the biggest bounce that we've seen recently was this one right here when we were at that 81 and it bounced down past that 63, but that was like the tariff and everything like that. But with that being said, I don't think waiting for this stock This is like the one stock I'd say not to wait for the dip, because honestly, I think it's only up from here. Probably even see it at that 150 level soon, and even that 200 by the end of the year. That's just me. Um, Trade based on how you want to trade. Do your research. The CEO is very, very, passionate about what they do and how they serve people. And this stock is only getting bigger. But with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.